Are you considering a trip to Hilton Head Island, South Carolina? Maybe you're looking at one of the Marriott Vacation Club properties, especially those big three that are on the beach, Marriott Grande Ocean, Marriott Barony Beach Club, or even Marriott Surfwatch. I'm going to compare them all. Let's go over it right after this. Hello and welcome to Destination Timeshare. I'm Jeremy. Today we're going to be talking about Marriott Vacation Club resort properties on Hilton Head Island. Now, Marriott Vacation Club, they actually have 8 resort properties on Hilton Head, but we're only going to be talking about 3, and these are quite often referred to as the Big 3 because these are essentially the purpose-built Marriott resorts. They're on the beach, on the ocean, on Hilton Head Island. You have Marriott's Grande Ocean, Marriott's Barony Beach Club, and Marriott's Surfwatch. And we're not actually going to be comparing Marriott's Monarch at Sea Pines here because it's kind of in a different category. So it was actually the original Marriott Vacation Club resort. It wasn't actually built by them. So decided to look at these 3 are kind of newer properties. They're still not new, but they're the newer Marriott resorts on Hilton Head Island. First up, we're actually going to take a look at the villas at each of the resorts. First up, we're going to take a look at Grande Ocean. Actually, they have the biggest villas, and you'll notice as we go along here, the villas will go down in size and get smaller as we go through towards newer resorts here. Grande Ocean is actually the oldest of the 3. It was built in 1992, and it has 290 2-bedroom units, each of them 1,380 square feet. So like I said, these are actually the biggest units of all of the 3 properties. Beautiful units, fairly, in fact, recently renovated. We, in fact, had a chance to stay in a renovated villa in the recent past. Truly fantastic. Lots of room in these villas. Beautiful bedrooms. And even some nice views as well. We're actually going to talk about the views in a little bit. Next up, you have Barony Beach Club. It was actually built in 1999. 250 2-bedroom units here again. And each of those are 1,300 square feet. So 80 less square feet in these villas. And again, wonderful villas. Recently renovated, and truly really nice units here at Barony Beach Club. In fact, one of our more favorite resorts we've been to. And then last but not least, you have Marriott's Surfwatch. This was actually built in 2005, so the newest of the 3 resorts, newer than Barony by 6 years in fact, and it has 195 units. In fact, it's a mix of 2-bedroom and 3-bedroom units. The 2-bedroom units are 1,275 square feet, and the 3 bedrooms are 1,575 square feet. So the 2 bedrooms, again, getting just a little bit smaller, going from Barony to Surfwatch. But of course, you have those 3-bedroom units, really nice, large units there at Surfwatch. And that's kind of what set them apart a little bit from the other 2 resorts, was it was the only one to offer 3-bedroom units. Now let's talk about the views. Views at these resorts can be a little bit confusing because they do have similar view categories at the 3 different resorts. You'll find garden view, oceanside, and even ocean front. And one other odd one here we'll talk about in just a second. So you do have Grande Ocean and Barony Beach Club that have ocean front views. And at Surfwatch, they actually call them Ocean Vista because essentially Surfwatch is set back quite a ways from the beach and from the ocean. So they didn't necessarily want to call that building there. And the views in it that's closest to the ocean, they didn't want to call it oceanfront because it's not really oceanfront. It's so far back. So they called it Ocean Vista. And also at Surfwatch, you have Oceanside. These are kind of the next 2 buildings back, kind of surround the pool there. Those are considered Oceanside. Barony Beach Club has this as well. They kind of face in towards the courtyard in the middle of the resort. Oceanside at Grande Ocean, they all kind of face in towards the lagoon area or the pools, so they don't really have all that great of views of the ocean. The top floors you might be able to see kind of over top and through the trees a little bit, maybe a little tiny bit of the ocean, but pretty much at Barony Beach Club, you're not going to have any view of the ocean or anything from garden views, because garden views here at Barony Beach Club are actually a little bit separated and set back from the resort. You have the main building kind of cluster that is at the beach side that contains your ocean front and your ocean side. Then kind of across the street even is where you'll find the garden views. Really nice buildings over there, kind of nice views of the pool area. But they're not really all that close to the ocean, and probably a little bit of a walk too if you're staying in Garden View at Barony Beach Club. Same is actually true at Surfwatch. Those are the furthest buildings back away from the ocean, and they kind of cluster around a small pond or lake, you could call it. So not great views from the garden views at really any of the resorts. Some people actually enjoy the garden views, and you really can't argue with the price because they're going to be quite a bit cheaper than booking an oceanfront. Now, something to make it even a little bit more confusing is on Marriott.com, they don't even use the oceanfront, ocean vista, garden view, or oceanside, because those are kind of confusing when you're thinking about views potentially in Hilton Head Island. They just go by close to the beach and courtyard view. Kind of gives people a little bit more of a description of what those views really are, because if you're in Surfwatch and you have ocean vista, you might be thinking, hey, that's oceanfront or really good ocean views, but it really isn't necessarily all that great of a view. They're calling it close to the beach. They don't want people getting confused, thinking, hey, I have an oceanfront, and it's actually still a long ways back from the ocean. Because if you think of a lot of oceanfront properties in, say, Florida, those resorts and some of those buildings are actually pretty much right on top of the beach. You don't find that in Hilton Head Island, at least not at these three properties. All right, now we're going to talk about on-site food and beverage that's available at these three properties. We haven't actually eaten at any of the three properties in the restaurants that they have on site, but at Grande Ocean, they have the Loggerhead Pool Bar and the Dolphin Grill. Essentially, when you order food at the Loggerhead Pool Bar, they're getting it from the Dolphin Grill, just the one on-site restaurant. There is no marketplace there because the marketplace was actually taken over by a spa. We'll talk about that here in just a little bit when we get to activities, but just the one restaurant there at Grande Ocean. And just one other thing to note is the bar at Grande Ocean, the Loggerhead Pool Bar, it's actually open to the public, so keep that in mind. You may have some people not staying at the resort, kind of going there, dining and drinking. Over at Barony Beach Club, they have All Y'all's Bar and Grill. And then at Surfwatch, you have Sea Salt's Beverage Company. It's a little bit unique in that it's actually up close to the beach, kind of with the pool there that's kind of beachside. So you have some really nice views if you decide to get a drink, maybe some food there. You can sit there with great views out to the Atlantic Ocean. All right, now we got to jump into the important part. Probably one of the primary reasons you go and stay at one of these resorts, and that just happens to be the pools. Now, all of the resorts do have an indoor pool, so that's something to think about if you're going in the winter months or when it's maybe a little bit cooler, or maybe even for a rainy day. They do have indoor pools. And our experience has actually been, anytime we've been to these three resorts, is those indoor pools really don't get a lot of use. We usually go in the colder times of the year, and those pools really aren't as busy as I was expecting them to be. So that's kind of a good thing. But talking about the outdoor pools, Grande Ocean, in fact, has four. You have a lap pool, the north and south pool, and then the dolphin pool. The dolphin pool is actually currently undergoing a renovation, and by the time you're watching this, that might actually be complete, where they're adding a lazy river. Lazy river doesn't look like it's going to be very big. I was actually there when they were working on some of the construction to redo that pool, to reconfigure it with a lazy river. But you do have two heated pools there. The south pool and the lap pool are in fact heated. So if you want to go during cooler times of the year and you want to take advantage of the pools, well, they do have them heated. It's just that maybe getting out of them might not be all that easy. Now, Barony Beach Club, they actually have three outdoor pools. They have the one that's up kind of closer to the beach. Then they have the heated pool, which is kind of directly out the back of the main clubhouse. The indoor pool is just inside that clubhouse. And then they have the Blues Lagoon pool, which is actually kind of majorly made for kids because they have a water slide over there. They have some water features. So really a cool area over there in the garden view section, in fact. So it actually might make that garden view area a little bit of a popular area. If you want to book a garden view, you'll have a great pool right outside there with a water slide for kids or even adults too. So great pools at Barony Beach Club. And then Surfwatch, they just have two outdoor pools, kind of one where the main section of the resort sits, and then they have the one that's out towards the ocean a little ways as well. So all of the resorts also do, of course, have hot tubs or spas, wonderful pools. You really can't go wrong with any of them at these three properties. All right, now let's talk about on-site activities. There's really not too much variance in the activities that are available at any of these resorts. You gotta have the organized activities at all three of them, you know, where the activity staff sets up different things like trivia, bingo, you might have games, might have different craft type activities as well for kids and for adults. Then the difference here though is that, as far as I can tell, Grand Ocean is the only one that has this, and that is a mini golf course. Not very big, not very fancy, but just something to think about if you're trying to figure out which resort might be best for you. They all seem to have pool tables, foosball, all that kind of stuff to take advantage of. But I also noticed that one other thing that is a little bit unique to Surfwatch, they seem to actually have a horseshoe pit. I can actually not think of any time I've seen that at another timeshare property. So great activities at all of them. It's really hard to say one is better than the other. The activities seem to all be very similar. And one other thing I want to mention here about activities, it's not necessarily an activity per se, but Marriott's Barony Beach Club has a spa. The Namaste Spa is located in the clubhouse there. Kind of a really nice place to go, maybe book some spa services. And just recently, they actually put a spa in at Grande Ocean. It used to be the former vending area, which was previous to that, in fact, a marketplace. Well, now there's spa, and they offer spa services there as well. So if you're wanting a spa experience with your vacation, you might want to book one of those two properties, because Marriott's Surfwatch, it in fact doesn't have an on-site spa. All right, now let's talk about these three resorts and where they're actually located and kind of what's nearby each of them. We're going to start on the north end of Hilton Head Island and go south. So that means we're starting at Barony Beach Club inside the Port Royal Plantation. It's actually closest to Walmart. There's a Publix up that way as well, and a Harris Teeter grocery store. So if you're looking for groceries, those are probably what's going to be close by on the north end of the island. Really, when it comes to restaurants, well, Hilton Head, it's a big place for those who are interested in a culinary experience. Lots of great restaurants all over the island. So I'm not going to point out too much of where different restaurants are, because they're just about everywhere. And you probably need to be pretty willing to kind of drive a little bit of a distance to go to maybe your favorite restaurant, regardless of what property you're staying at. Now we're going to talk about Surfwatch. It's actually in between Port Royal and Palmetto Dunes, and it's actually closest to the Shelter Cove area of Hilton Head Island. You have a great Kroger grocery store there. In fact, we've done quite a bit of shopping at that grocery store when visiting Hilton Head Island. And there's actually also a number of restaurants in that area too. So you're fairly close to restaurants there, but like I said, you need to kind of be willing to venture out a little bit as well and try a number of restaurants all over the island. And then you have Marriott's Grande Ocean, kind of towards the south end of the island, closest in fact to the Sea Pines area. And they also do give you a week-long pass for your vehicle to get into Sea Pines. Also, I understand if you're renting bicycles that they give you a pass for your bicycles as well. So that is a great thing there with Grande Ocean. Proximity to Sea Pines, there's a Harris Teeter grocery store there too. In my opinion though, it's kind of an expensive grocery store. So in a lot of cases, I've actually made a trip up to Kroger, but lots to do around there. You have Coligny Plaza, places to eat, places to shop. So really great location for Grande Ocean, and you're also just a short drive into Sea Pines. All right, now let's talk about kind of more of the resort feel or vibe of each of these properties. They're all kind of similar in a way, but they're also a little bit different. So kind of want to point this out. Marriott's Grande Ocean, the name says it all. It's grand, it's big, and it's expansive. Beautiful lagoon area where they kind of have a little kind of stream or lagoon kind of running through the area. And then you have the other side of the resort, which is kind of where the dolphin pool is. Really nice places to sit, relax, and just kind of chill out at Marriott's Grande Ocean. Really can't say enough about this place. Really is truly a fantastic resort. You can make a trip out to the beach and just kind of hang out. They even have some really nice kind of swinging benches you can sit in, maybe sit there for the sunrise, or maybe even as the sun's going down. Really, really nice resort vibe at Marriott's Grande Ocean. Now when we talk about Marriott's Barony Beach Club, it's kind of a much more compact resort. Even though the garden view section is a little bit separate, I'm just talking about kind of the main section of the resort. It's actually kind of compact, so a lot of things happening and going on around there, but kind of the same vibe. You do have that kind of low country charm of the property, and really is a beautiful resort as well. So really like the vibe there too. And next up is Marriott's Surfwatch. This is probably the least exciting of the 3 resorts, as in terms of vibe, kind of just built on essentially what is swampland per se, and it really kind of lacks a little bit of charm in my opinion. It's not as nice as the other 2, at least from kind of landscaping and the trees and the lushness to it, but it still is a beautiful resort. Like I said earlier, they do have that garden view section that's kind of surrounding that lake, so there's some nice places to sit around there. Then you can go out and hang out at the beach at the Sea Salt's Beverage company. So they all have kind of a similar vibe, but still just a little bit different. Now let's talk about which one is right for you. Really, in all honesty, you can't go wrong with any of the 3 properties. They're all fantastic. They're all quite similar, but like I said, they do have their differences. They're all great for kids. They're all great for adults. It's not like a place like Orlando, and in fact, I did a video comparing all of the different resorts in Orlando. I'll put a link to it up here if you want to take a look. But yeah, the resorts on Hilton Head Island, kind of similar enough that picking any one over the other isn't going to fundamentally change your vacation experience. So really, which one you go with is really kind of up to you. Do you want to be close to Sea Pines with that free and included access to Sea Pines? Then, well, maybe your best option is Grande Ocean. Maybe you just want kind of a nice, quiet resort. Well, then Surfwatch might be a little bit better for you. Or maybe your kids want to take advantage of a water slide. Well, you're going to want to check out Barony Beach Club if you want a lazy river, short lazy river, but a lazy river nonetheless. Well, then consider Grande Ocean. So I really do hope you found this video helpful. If you have any comments, questions, leave those down below. And in fact, if you book to stay at any of these properties based on these recommendations, I'd love to hear about that too down below. And if you want to see another video of one of the resorts on Hilton Head Island, I will put a link to one right here. So go over and check that one out. I also appreciate it if you give this video a thumbs up. It really does help with these videos. Thanks for watching. And until next time, remember, the best destination is always a timeshare.